Hello everyone, this is going to be just some channeled messages. I just felt like there's a lot of things that needed to come through. And I didn't want to do a pick a card because I just felt like these could apply to anyone. So these are just going to come out. I don't know what will come out. I haven't planned this at all. Just kind of spontaneous. So Nine of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, reverse. Okay, so right now, it's almost like a cooling down from Leo season, because I feel like for August, most people, it was pretty intense. And it was like everything got burned. And I think, I'm not for sure, but I think even in nature, there was like fires and volcanoes, but it was just like an eruption, an explosion. It was the destruction. If you're following the cycle of the phoenix, it was the burning that happens before the rebirth. And so this feels like it's cooling off. Like I'm getting the image after a fire has basically burnt everything out. There's just a few small little fires still going, and they're dying off. So that's kind of the energy currently. And it's being prepared for, it's like the rest and the healing that takes place before the action is ready. Because if the action were to come now, everyone is still, it's like they're healed. Like if there was an operation to remove whatever it was, the tumor or the toxic thing, it's been removed, but you still have to heal and recover from the surgery. Even though that thing is no longer in you or within you, there's still the recovery process. Same as birthing a baby, there's still recovery after it happens. So that's what's going on right now. But that's why even though it's like the hard thing has ended, but it still feels hard. Like you're still feeling the pain, you still may be suffering, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't ended. It just means the physical part takes a little while to catch up. And 10 of Swords. So everyone's been through it and been doing a lot. And when I say everyone's been through it, I mean some people who were aware of kind of what was going on or kind of what they were supposed to be doing. So everybody struggled. Like the people who kind of knew, they struggled because they were faced with challenges they knew they had to face and that they couldn't run from. And the people that didn't know, or the people that had been running, they too were faced with a point where there was like no going back at this point. Everyone has reached the point of no return. So there's no, like everyone has to face, it doesn't matter what work you've been doing, what you've been ignoring. At this point, everyone is leveling up and having to face what you may have tried to go your whole life without facing. So those of you that have been aware kind of what's going on and have been doing the work, it's going to be easier for you because although it's still a challenge, there's just so much less to do because you've been doing it. You've been preparing for this and you are going to be ready. And so it's almost like this wave, like the people would be split into two separate groups. So those who, and I don't want to at all make it seem like there was a wrong or a right way or a group. That's not it. It's just totally up to your own personal contract or personal mission in this life. And there's no wrong or right. It's just what you chose to come and experience. So the people that have been doing the work, as I said, for this cycle, for them, it's that burning away of the old and kind of recovering, getting ready for the new rebirth and the new, completely new cycle. And also it's important to know, for those of you identifying with that group, as painful as it was, what you've just experienced, or what in the past month or couple months you've been experiencing, that pain is foreshadowing the equivalent pleasure that's going to come into your life. So whatever it was that you had to go through, it was showing you, it was like two ends of a spectrum. So or like a pendulum. So it's swaying that way, and now it has to swing the other way just as intensely as it swung the uncomfortable way. So that's as much the intensity of the good that you're going to feel, which might help you make peace and fully let it burn off. So then the other group who's been doing other things, they haven't been doing nothing. They've just not been doing those specific things or facing those things. They've kind of been doing everything else but face those things. So they've still been working on other areas of their life, just not when it comes to, facing those dark shadows or those feelings you really don't want to feel. So they're going to be confronted with this. And then when the cycle comes for them, or for everybody, the new rebirth cycle, the people who haven't done the work yet, they're not going to be ready for that yet. They're not going to be ready to receive it yet, because they still have work to do. So they will kind of keep going in this cycle of this, like, being faced with these triggers, having kind of the cycle the other group has been going through these past years, of being confronted with things, having to work through it, and then healing from that, and then being confronted by one, and just this continuous cycle. So that group, when this new rebirth comes, they won't be a part of it yet. They won't get to take advantage of it yet. They're not eligible, you could say. They're not eligible yet because they have work to do. But those who have been doing the work, this specific work, when this cycle comes around, you are ready to receive, because you've been preparing. You've been giving so much your whole life. That was never an issue for you. You never had an issue with giving. It was the receiving part. So you had to face all these dark shadows that were really the blocks keeping you from receiving. And you did that. And also you can be an inspiration for all those people who've, at that time, it felt impossible. It felt too much. And that's totally okay. They knew what they could handle in that moment, and they couldn't handle facing that in that moment. And that's why they chose not to, and that's okay. That's perfect. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. So you can help be an inspiration to them, because as they're going through these cycles that you've already been through, because you've already had to do this, they can look at you, and they will, maybe not on the outside, but internally, they will draw strength from you and from your example and from your experience. So just know that you are helping them just by continuing to face the things. It's kind of like when a friend is like, I don't like to cook, well, I don't like to clean. So like, one doesn't like to cook, one doesn't like to clean. So they don't mind the other. So one cooks and one cleans, because, it works out. So it's almost like, this person's afraid to face this fear, but this person can handle it. So they face it, and then it helps this person handle it. And there may be other things that this person can handle better. So it's kind of like that. But yeah, as this new rebirth cycle comes in for those that are ready to receive, it's all about just being ready to receive. And if you still have all these beliefs that you're not good enough, that there's lack, that these are gonna block you from receiving. And these are the shadows that the people that they've been avoiding them are gonna have to now face. Because essentially their soul is guiding them to end that cycle and to be able to receive. And so they have to face these things and confront them and clear them in order to be open to receiving. So it is an ending for everybody. So those that are ready to receive, the ending that will come for them is an ending to this cycle that they keep repeating. So as this other group is going to start being in this cycle, this group is finally ending it. So ending the struggles, and not ending all struggles, of course. I want to be really specific here. I'm talking about specific struggles that you've been going through, that this group has been going through. Specific circumstances, just anything that hasn't changed, or it's like you've been changing, because when you change, your reality has to change, and that's exactly what you've been doing. You've been doing the internal changes. The outside hasn't caught up just yet, but that's what's ending, is like finally it's ready to catch up. And so, because you were kind of like, why am I keep doing these cycles? Why do I keep going through this over and over? There's a little bird right at my door. Anyway, it's a cactus wren. So if that calls to you in any way, search up cactus wren, the spiritual meaning. I don't know what it is, but I know that they make holes in cactuses and they eat the fruit, and I think they even live in them sometimes. Anyway, that's just a side note for somebody. So what I was saying is this new cycle, yes, so what's ending for this group that's been doing this work will be having to face these same things over and over. And what's ending for the group who hasn't been facing it is they will no longer have any reasons, any excuses, any chances to avoid this. Like, I'm hearing the excuses are ending, but it's like they're not going to be able to avoid. It's not that they're not going to be able to make an excuse, but it's like their physical circumstances will force them to confront these. There's nowhere they can run anymore. It's an ending to being able to avoid this for them. So overall, it's really a blessing for everyone, and it's just like this dark moon. It's probably also aligned with the blue moon. That's the full moon coming up. But this is a timeless message, so whenever you watch it, it applies. But it's like this dark blue water just washing, and I'm seeing the color black, but black as in like a cleansing black, like a purifying, like it's just clear, like it's just, there's nothing, it's just empty, it's clear, it's ready. So, and it's like this dark blue rain washing over you. So that's all I'm getting for now. I gotta cut this short because I'm about to burn some food on the stove and my phone's about to die. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.